appears to be a waterfall. And you brought with you a cup from the kitchen so that you could scoop some of the water. But as you tried to do that, you got a cup full of moss, and you wouldn't drink that. So you take the moss out, and as soon as you're about to take a drink, somebody says, you need to boil the water first, or you're going to have parasitic infections. So you look for some twigs, and you come across a tree with twigs on it. And as soon as you're about to take the twigs from the tree, someone says, "Those are not your twigs. I need those for my fire so I can boil water and not get sick once I take the moss out." So you say, "What if I trade you my water for some twigs? The water that has not been boiled, so I can use some twigs and build a fire and get another cup from my kitchen so I can also get some more water and boil it there." The person agreed and handed you some twigs so you could build a fire. But then you forgot how to get back to the kitchen. But then you remembered that you were supposed to trace a line from your kitchen to the waterfall, and you only did a little bit and then thought, this is not gonna ever happen, so I don't need to keep doing this. And so you go back the way you were before, and then you got lost in the woods. But while being lost in the woods, you found some bark, and you thought, I could use this to scoop up water, even though there's moss in this piece of bark, but I'm sure after I boil it, it'll be fine. So you take the bark back to the waterfall and scoop some water, noticing that there's moss in it. And so you try to take the moss out, but then realize that the bark that you used also has moss on it. And so it's not easy to take the moss out. So you should probably go back to your kitchen and get a cup instead. And so, with many attempts, you finally make it back to the kitchen, and you get a new cup and go back to the waterfall. And this time, you take the moss out of it, and this time there's no moss embedded in the cup, so it should work. And you have the twigs, so now you can start the fire to boil it. And as you light the fire using a lighter that you just so happen to have, you realize that you're using a plastic cup. And when you tried to boil the water, the cup melted. And so you no longer have anything. So you go back to the person by the tree, and you ask them if you can borrow what they use to boil their water. And they said, "You can use what I use to boil the water once I'm no longer alive. And that will take quite a long time, so I suggest you go find your way back to the kitchen and get something that won't melt when you make fire. And if you trade me some water from the waterfall, I'll give you some more twigs so you can boil the water." But you became impatient, and you didn't want to go all the way back to the kitchen, and you were very thirsty, so you decided just to drink the water from the waterfall without boiling it. Which wasn't a good idea. Probably should have boiled it.